testimony for this whole winning mega marathon yesterday. But before we start, let's open our session with open our hymn books on page 178. 179. Such Love, 179. Hymn book, page 179, 179. Such Love. That God should love. Ready on the first verse now. Ready? Sing. That God should love a sinner such as I, should yearn to change my sorrow into bliss, for rest till He had done to bring me nigh. How wonderful is love like this! Such love, such wondrous love, such love, such wondrous love, that God should love a sinner such as I. How wonderful is love like this! That Christ should join so freely in the scheme, although it meant His death on Calvary. Did ever human time find longer thing than lovely wine that ransomed me? Such love, such wondrous love, such love, such wondrous love, that God should love a sinner such as I. How wonderful is love like this! That for a willful outcast such as I, the fatherland, the Savior bled and died, redemption for a worthless slave to buy, who long had known in grace divine. Such love, such wondrous love, such love, such wondrous love, that God should love a sinner such as I. How wonderful is love like this! And how He takes me to His heart of Son. He asks me not to fill a service place. The far off country wanderings all are done. Wide open are His arms of grace. Such love, such wondrous love, such love, such wondrous love, that God should love a sinner such as I. How wonderful is love like this! On our second song, page 227, 227, Saved by the Blood. Page 227, 227, Saved by the Blood. Saved by the blood of the crucified One. Ready on the first verse now. Ready? Sing. Saved by the blood of the crucified One, now ransomed from sin and a new work begun. Sing praise to the Father and praise to the Son. Saved by the blood of the crucified One. Glory, I'm saved. Glory, I'm saved. My sins are
testimonies from each of the three groups. I'm the only one here from Pampanga, other than my wife and my son, and I don't think my son's ready for a testimony, so I'll kind of quickly go, and then Brother Emmons going to represent the Muluka group, and then the guys who want to go from Quezon City. So I'd say for soul winning today, we'll probably do soul winning a little bit less time than normal. I think a lot of us are exhausted, but after we get through the testimonies, I'll come back up here and just go over a few things and carry you guys up there. So I'll just give you guys a few things from Pampanga. And so we went down there on Thursday, and it took us like 5 hours to get there because of traffic, which was fun. And once we got down there, like I was kind of surprised because we had in our hotel, like when I went out, just people were, beating themselves everywhere. Because I watched the interview with Stephen Anderson, Pastor Anderson, and James White, and James White said, "Oh, people don't really beat themselves anymore, crucify themselves." And I've never been here for Holy Week, so it's very, very common, especially in Pampanga. And so like I woke up Friday morning and I just heard that sound of just, that unmistakable sound of people beating themselves. Like at 6:15 in the morning, it's like, man, you can tell there's a lot of people doing it too. So I saw one person walking with a cross, like they were nailed to it, and there was like a group of like 5 or 6 people that were carrying crosses. I guess they were going to nail themselves later. The most amazing thing to me though was just that it seemed so normal to everybody.
Right.
And to a lot of you might be desensitized to it because you've seen it, but for me, I didn't even want to see people beating themselves. It's really gross. It's disgusting. And that just kind of shows no matter what you're taught or what you're around, you will become desensitized over time. It doesn't matter what it is. It will start to seem normal to you. And so for me, it didn't seem normal at all. Maybe it will here in a few years. I don't know. So that was on Friday. And so when we went soul winning on Saturday, we had 25 soul winners, which is a pretty good number. We had, obviously, Brother Francis and his wife, Sister Michelle, were here, but also the families that visited from Pampanga last week came as well. But also my wife's old church was there as well, like half of them, some of them. And so this is kind of a testimony going 5 years back, but when my wife and I first started talking, their church didn't really do any soul winning. And we started talking, and I talked about soul winning to her when we were talking long distance. And their church started to implement soul winning to their church. It was obviously new to them and everything like that. Well, on Friday, when I went out to the park just to do soul winning, just talking to people that are out and about, I actually saw like her old church leader was actually out there in the park. And so he's still the church leader now. And I was like, I haven't seen him in 5 years. And I guess he's seen some of my videos online. I didn't recognize him. And he's like, "Oh, Matt, what time's soul winning tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" So I ended up recognizing it was straight up Jeff, but it took me a little while. But that just kind of shows, that the zeal that we have as a church and as individuals, it does rub off on people.
Yep.
Because soul winning is what we're about, and it's exciting, and it just shows that it has a lasting impact. Like all these soul winning marathons we do, it will have a lasting impact. And even some of these lame churches, the ones that are right on the gospel but are really lame, honestly, some of them are going to see it and start to do at least some forms of evangelism or soul winning. Even if it's not the best techniques, at least it's something, right? And so that was kind of exciting. And so we had 25 soul winners, and at the park there was just not that many people there, which the other groups experienced the same thing. I think it was just really hot, or maybe, Catholic festival or whatever they were doing, I don't know. There weren't that many people there, so we really had to search for the people we were going to talk to. So we kind of left the park, and we're just stopping people on the side of the road and everything. And so we ended up with, in the morning session, I'm trying to think the exact number we had of salvations. It was in the 50s, I think, high 50s. And then a lot of people had to go because it was her old church's anniversary, so they could only stay for the first half. And then we stayed and got up to 80 souls saved for 25 soul winners, which is a good number. It's 3.2 per person. And I like the numbers because it's a good number, but it's not a crazy number. Yeah, we didn't come back with 800 salvations. 80 salvations, but it was really hard. Like I had 4 salvations, which is not, great. It's not terrible, but it took a lot of work to get those 4. Really spending a lot of time and searching and everything like that. And so it's just exciting to be a part of that. 80 salvations. Amen. And we had another church was able to help participate with us, and they do have the same gospel as us, so that's great news. And so it's just exciting to be a part of it. So, all right, Brother Evans.
Good afternoon, guys. So I'm here to represent the Muntinlupa chapter. So our exact location was the Sunken Garden, and it is near the New Bilibid prison. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's like the Alcatraz version of the Philippines. So these are where the maximum security inmates are. And so we have a total of 15 soul winners that time, and I think we have counted until, was it 47? Yeah, 47 salvations.
Amen.
So in the morning, though, it's same as the situation in Pampanga, wherein people are not that much in the park itself. So the team decided to go on a door-to-door preaching, and there are few people at that moment. I think it's because of the heat. Most people are most doors that we have knocked doesn't seem like responding. It's as if they were not home. I don't know why. So, but it was the afternoon part where we became more productive, as we can see that the people hanging out in the parks are gradually increasing. So me and my partner, Brother Lem, have been preaching from couple to couple to couple during that afternoon, and it was much more better than what we had in the morning. But for me, my highlight was just happened maybe a few minutes before the first morning session that just got out, wherein I had a chance to speak with an inmate of the New Believers prison. Surprisingly, he was out in the prison, so I thought he was just a normal guy, but the guy is pretty much dark complexion, small in build, wearing just white sandal, but his body is all marked up with tattoos and all. So as I go and preach the gospel to him, he keeps on bothering me that he was like saying in Tagalog, like, dito sa medium security, dito sa medium, kami sa medium, maraming nagpipreach sa amin ng mga ibang religion. But I don't know what's the meaning of that medium. It just when I found out, when I continue my preaching to him, when I got to Revelation 21:8, wherein there's the fearful and unbelieving, and then all of a sudden he started seeming like he's reading my Bible, and he pointed the murderer part, and he says, "Oh, this is my case." Then it just hit me that this guy is a murderer and he killed someone. Well, at least he already know that he's bound to go to hell, and he's admitting it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I still continued preaching. It made me nervous in a bit. I was thinking that maybe would this guy kill me if he will offend, if I will offend him, something like that. But praise God that he believes in us, in what we're preaching, and he told me that he believed in Jesus, and among all the religious groups that he heard, he told me that ours is the one that made sense to him, because the gospel is pretty plain and simple, and it's easy to understand. And praise God for that. And I just want to highlight what Brother Stuckey mentioned a while ago in Jeremiah 32:27. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? And the answer is obviously none, right? So my take on that is that if God is for us, then who can be against us?
Right.
And this will also serve as an encouragement for all those new soul winners out there, and those who want to try soul winning. It's really a good experience, especially if you will be in a big group like this, like the Mega Marathon. And I'm really blessed to be a part of it, and I just want to praise God for all the souls saved yesterday. That's it. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Alright, so I'll be presenting to you also the case for the case. Yeah, what happened yesterday with the Quezon City group. You can correct me, guys, if I missed something out. So overall, it was a great experience. Soul winning again in Quezon City Circle, and like what the other cases in other places in Lupa and Pampanga, the morning was you would see the drought time. So it's the dry times that you cannot find that much people, unlike in the afternoon. And the interesting part about soul winning in Quezon City Circle is the false prophets. So Brother Stuckey well know how I deal with false prophets. So, but don't worry, I was calm. I was able to fulfill my my promise. I was calm in dealing with them. And Brother Timothy, I'd like to give him a special mention on how we should deal with false prophets. I'd like to also share that with you as well. If you will be soul winning in a public place and you see a false prophet preaching a false gospel unto a certain group of people or a person, after they presented their message, you come to them, approach them, and also present to them the gospel. And most likely, in my case, they were able to receive the gospel in both groups. So this group from Korea preached their false gospel, and I talked to the guy. I was able to save the guy from hell. And the other one preached in the afternoon. There comes the Lordshippers, the people who preach Lordship salvation. Same thing, they got saved as well. And it was also the same case. I also heard about devout Catholics who are defending themselves, trying to defend their works in their way to heaven. Okay, well, they can go to hell if they want to. So, yeah. And overall, it was great. We got 66 salvations for the entire day, and 17 soul winners were able to do a great job. So, yeah, that's it for testimony.
Amen. All right, well, great work, everyone. Let me just say one thing before we get started with soul winning. We've been around, I think, as a church for 5 months, pretty much. We're very successful as a church.
Man.
Quite honestly, my wife and I want to thank everyone because, we couldn't do it without everybody's help in getting stuff organized. We hosted 3 events, which meant that a lot of people were going to have to chip in to make those things happen. And just for our church to be successful, it is really a group effort. Quite honestly, in this area, we're really the hope. Which is sad that that's the way it is, but we got to do mighty work for God. We just really appreciate everyone's help, and so far things are very successful. So we just want to thank you for that. So let's just give a round of applause.